Hi, my name is Sam Price, the Crypto Lifer, and today I'm going to give you a top-down Bitcoin analysis, and I'm going to talk about Bitcoin total 3, Bitcoin dominance, tether dominance, S&P futures, the NASDAQ, and a secret hidden chart that I've been working on each week to kind of update you on where we're at. So stay tuned for that awesome chart. I may even give you an altcoin that is looking pretty hot that you might want to pay attention to. So stay tuned for more. All right, right now, Bitcoin, 69,530. I kept talking about this area here. As long as we close a weekly candle above 65.5, we remained bullish. So I'm going to zoom out and kind of show you these levels as we look at just the tops of Bitcoin. So 65.5 was taken. We got back above it. Had we closed the weekly candle below that, it was going to be likely a bearish move. The fact that we went this low and got wicked back up, though, that was a crazy week. I'll tell you what, definitely an emotional roller coaster there for a lot of people that panic sold. And, you know, I held my coins and I actually started buying into certain projects like AOIZ and Arrow too as well. And I ended up making some massive gains by taking some big risk here during that time. Anyway, 67,200 is our next resistance and support. So like that, you know, would have been resistance, but it's nice support now. If we come back and we lose that, it will become resistance. I'd like to see us stay above 67,200. And these two candles here at 67.8, 67.9, but I call it 67,800, really 850. That here, I'd like to see this candle close above that. And, you know, at the same time, I'll just take it above 67,200. Right now, Bitcoin did get a pretty nice spike up to 71.8. Since then, it's been rejected by the daily local time frame, really at 71,500. So this is going to be the biggest weekly candle close in Bitcoin's history. All right, in 2 days and 3 hours, when this candle does close above this level. If it does that, that's bullish. Then we can open up our next candle above it and possibly continue to the upside. If you look at the 3-day chart, like we've talked about, we've gone over the fact that this is basically a bull flag, right? And you made a little bull flag after just a little pullback, and Bitcoin may likely want to continue to the upside. That measure move takes you to 87,000, 87,900, 88,000. So we're looking at about 88K for Bitcoin. These key levels that we're looking for. When I go to the daily, I've talked about this hidden bullish. Hidden bullish is when the price action swings to the upside, but the RSI has a crazy swing to the downside on the same points, right? That tells you you're likely going to make a high above this high and continue to the upside. I also see how the daily, if you bring this down right here, you have daily resistance. That main area is going to be 68,300. As long as Bitcoin stays above that level, I just don't see any more downside. And right now, the daily is also holding a support at about 69,400, 69,005. We're on that level. We lose 69.5, we're definitely going to test 68.2. We lose 68.2, we're testing 67,002, and then it's back to that 65.5 level. So I know what levels to watch, and I'll be on it. And the smaller time frames will give us that confirmation if we lose them. Right now, I'm still bullish on Bitcoin unless we close a daily candle below 67,200. And I'd like to see the weekly candle stay above 67,200. And we want to see this weekly candle close above the resistance. That's all we want. This week, I don't really care about anything else. I just want this weekly candle to close above these two candles at 69,000 even. That's going to be a pretty good sign, right? And if we can't get that, at least 67,200. All right. We lose those levels, then I will start to slip into more of a cautious state looking for possible bearish moves. But right now, I stay bullish on Bitcoin based on the daily, the 3-day, and the weekly chart. We take a look at the total market cap for all of cryptocurrency. And again, we have the extreme hidden bullish that tells us the trend will continue to the upside. We're consolidating beautifully. Even if we get a little bit of a pullback here and we come a little lower, even if we get a little pullback and we come a little lower down to here, we could bounce, then get a bounce, and then be on our way. Still could be a high with a lower high, and we could dump to the downside. I'm open-minded for that, but we'd have to break this trend line first. And I like what we're seeing with the moving averages here on the daily time frame. This would take us back to $3.5 trillion on the total market cap. Be a pretty awesome deal, right? So right there, the daily looks very bullish for the total market cap. Unless we close a candle below 2.24, that would be the end of the trend because you have a high, a low, a high. You want to look for a higher low and a higher high. If we made a lower low and we broke below 2.58, 2.258, then that would be a road for caution that we may be coming back down to the 200 SMA. When we look at the total market cap of all of cryptocurrencies, which is total 3, we're inside of another beautiful ascending triangle. This does want to break back up to $1.1 trillion, and this is bullish on the daily time frame as well. So all of the altcoins have some bullishness, and that swing up, while that swings down, there's hidden bullish around the whole entire, on all these charts. So it's telling us that there's likely going to be a move. Hidden bullish is about 90% accurate. It's telling me there's a 90% chance that we're going to break above this high and continue to the upside. So for all the people that are shorting, understand hidden bullish, you may get caught with your pants down. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance. It's also in an ascending triangle on the 3-day chart. Looks like it's about to rip to the upside and do some serious damage. It also has some, kind of hidden bullish. This swings up while the RSI also swings down, and that actually is giving us the continuation. We should break through this high to the upside. Whenever I look at Bitcoin dominance, I want to also juxtapose Tether dominance. If Bitcoin dominance is about to rip on the 3-day, but Tether dominance is about to dump on the 3-day, it tells me people are about to run into Bitcoin and sell out of their US Tether. Tether is in a bear flag, overbought on the stochastics and curving down, looking like it's definitely going to dump with resistance at 4.33%. This thing looks like it wants to continue down to about 1.93%. Nobody wants to be holding Tether right now, connected to the dollar as they continue to print money to zero. This will be one of the biggest times they print money ever too, as we're going to have it. They're going to have to take care of Congress, the debt ceiling, which they don't have anymore, and they're going to have to get through, this bill that they just passed. They're going to have to print money for that, and they're going to have to print money for, just because they're in an election and they want to make it seem like everything's going better than it is. So there's going to be heavy money printing going on. I could see this Tether dropping fast and Bitcoin booming up. Bitcoin dominance is telling us that a big move is coming for Bitcoin. Whenever Bitcoin dominance is showing a big move on the 3-day chart like this, it suggests that a massive move is coming for Bitcoin. We look at the S&P futures, and I keep telling you that the S&P is likely going to go to the upside. It had a little bit of a dip. We started a flag here. It had a little bit of a dip, but previous support is resistance. You see this curve on the 12-hour time frame. I see the S&P booming up. I believe when I do this again next week, we're going to be somewhere halfway or all the way up to possibly $5,400. So I'm calling a move for the S&P to the upside next week, and it looks like that's likely going to happen. We take a look at the NASDAQ, and it's the same thing. We're bending here on the daily, looking pretty interesting to me. Even the 2-day chart, indecisive, but it's holding above the support. We do have a little bit of resistance that we're kind of playing with right here at about 18,530. Once we get above that, I see a move to 18,496. And with them printing money again, it suggests that we are going to get that push to the upside. Even the 4-hour looks lovely to me. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a big move on the 4-hour because we have tight moving averages, a bit of a bull flag falling wedge here, and our measured move takes us all the way even to 19,125. And we're basically at an all-time high for the S&P. You can see it, for the NASDAQ. And as the NASDAQ and the S&P are both about to breach their all-time highs, or the NASDAQ is, the S&P is, but the NASDAQ's about to breach its all-time high again and likely continue to the upside. Basically, they're sisters. They do the same thing. They're both in the flag in these giant uptrends inside of these bigger channels. So I do see a bigger move coming. Remember, I'm the guy that gave you the cup and handle on the NASDAQ right there in October, and I even gave you the bullish divergence and showed you where we were likely going to go. If you had bought into that cup and handle, like I told you, you'd be in the money huge in this rally. However, we outperformed this with Bitcoin, so we didn't even need to trade it at all. The last thing I want to talk about is the DXY. We got to look at the DXY and see what it's doing. It's in a rising wedge, showing signs on the 12-hour that it could break out, but rising wedges like to dump to the downside, but it has a little bit of momentum there. We take a look at the 12-hour and even the daily, and the daily is very overbought. We want to see this make a shoulder, a head, a shoulder. We want a complex head and shoulder here. We want shoulder, head, shoulder with a break to the downside. We do not want to see the dollar ever get back above 105.27. If that happens, it means it could use that as support and try to dig its way on out of here. That's not the best for Bitcoin. Again, they could pump together. They don't always have to be, uncorrelated, but this can definitely happen. So when we're watching this, we're seeing this rejection. We'd like to see a move to the downside here at 102.58 for the dollar index. So we're looking for this to move down. We do not want to see this start to move on out of here. That would be a red flag for Bitcoin. So we're going to watch this closely for you, but we definitely want to see this daily start to reject and get this dump here and go further to the downside. Last chart I want to show you is the Sol BTC chart. This chart is amazing. We gave you this giant cup and handle when it first started, showing signs of a move. This was our entry. It boomed to the upside. I have another idea here. Previous resistance becomes support. This is a flag. The stochastics are resetting. I love what I'm seeing here for this. This is telling me that the whole likely for Sol to pump with Bitcoin. So we have some indications that Bitcoin's going to pump. Why? we saw the Bitcoin dominance chart juxtaposed with the Tether dominance chart. Now, again, I'm not telling you I know what's going to happen, and nothing is 100%, but there's a high likelihood based on the correlations of these two dominance charts that we're going to get a move to the upside. Also, how could Sol BTC beat up on Bitcoin? Well, the whole market would pump to the upside, and Sol would go from 180 to probably 280, 260, and it would go up 50%. Bitcoin would go, from 71,000 to 80 and only go up 1/7. So Sol will go up 50%. Bitcoin will only go up 1/7 of its price action. And so definitely that's going to be Sol BTC making gains. Sol's going to make more of a gain than Bitcoin is. So the Sol BTC chart looks nice to me. This thing looks like it's going to moon. This is a BTC chart. You would grab Bitcoin, buy Sol with it. Then when it goes up, sell it. You would make 40% on your Bitcoin. One Bitcoin would turn into 1.44 Bitcoins if you got into this trade with one BTC. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I'm saying you should be taking as financial advice. This is just my technical analysis for the week, giving you the macro ideas of where we're going and where we could be headed. There's some deep insight here that you can't get anywhere else. Tell your family and friends. The Lifer has the sauce. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. If you came to the channel, then you're already doing the right thing. Crypto is life.